Hey guys, Coach Lemmon here. We're doing a free live lesson about how to have more fun playing golf. This is important. I think this is really important. I feel like there's kind of an epidemic, especially when I'm out playing golf. I see people, including myself, not having a lot of fun playing golf. And we spend money, we spend time, we spend time practicing, we do lots of things. And are we having fun? I mean, golf is a game. Golf is a game. It's supposed to be enjoyed. We're supposed to have a great time doing this. So hold on 1 second. Let me make sure I've got all my cameras up here. And good to go. So we're talking today about how to have fun on the golf course. How do you do that? I think one of the most important things, I think holding a lot of us back is our expectations. So I talk to my students about this a lot, and it's called expectation management. And what is a good shot? What's a bad shot? I see this all the time. I see this with friends of mine I play with. They go out and they hit what I think is a pretty good shot for them, and they're really mad and they're swearing and they're throwing clubs, and I'm like, that was actually a pretty good shot. And I feel like part of having fun playing golf is understanding what is a reasonable shot for us, and what is, also you shouldn't get, you have a choice. You don't have to get upset. But I feel like people think that if they've hit one shot, like if they've hit one drive 300 yards down the middle of the fairway, one out of maybe 100, that they should be doing that every single time. And it's just not realistic. Golf is a crazy game. I mean, we use a golf club, which has not only is it kind of shaped all weird. I mean, how do you even hit something like that? I mean, baseball makes more sense. You've got a round bat and a round ball, and that seems to go together better. But with golf, we've got this little goofed up little looking club. We've got a tiny little ball, and we're supposed to swing the club. With driver, you could be swinging it 100 miles an hour, and we're supposed to connect that with the ball that's sitting on the ground in a weird lie, and we're supposed to get it to go exactly where we want to go. First off, pros, whether on Live, PGA Tour, whatever, the best golfers in the world do not hit the ball where they want to consistently. They just don't. They have a dispersion. Most pros, yes, they hit it farther than we do. I know they definitely hit it farther than I do with the driver, but their dispersion with driver is like 70 yards wide. So they miss fairways all the time. I was just watching the British Open yesterday, and there was a bunch of bad shots. I mean, Bryson had a couple bad days in a row, and he missed the cut. I mean, the guy's hitting it a long way, but he's also hitting it way offline. And then what happens is we play golf, and we hit a shot offline, and then we're upset about it. And we're like, well, but that's pretty much in your normal dispersion. So first thing I want to talk about is understanding dispersion patterns. So a dispersion pattern is basically if you went out and hit 50 shots on a driving range with, let's say you just had your 8-iron. Let's say you hit your 8-iron and you hit a whole bucket of shots. What would that dispersion look like? What circle would that look like? Where would those balls land in that circle? And if you look at that, like let's say you have your target in the middle, and let's say the flag is in the middle, or let's say, you're hitting 8-iron, it's a 150 marker, or whatever it is. Your shots are, yes, you may have a couple around that mark, around that flag or that marker, but most of your shots are going to be in a big area around that. And depending on how good you are at playing golf, that dispersion pattern could be kind of big. It could be bigger or smaller depending on how you play. So if you think about it, you go out and you hit 50 shots on the driving range on a perfect condition with consistent golf balls, with a consistent wind, with a consistent direction, in the consistent grass. You're probably giving yourself the exact same lie. And your dispersion pattern could be 20 or 30 yards wide, depending on what club you're hitting. Or or wider. I mean, with driver, like I know my dispersion with driver is at least 60 yards, and I have this fun little big slice that I can hit that can go maybe 50 or 60 yards to the right. So understand that. So when you're out on the course and you're hitting a club into a par three and you miss the green, well, that's probably within your dispersion pattern. Like if you had 50 shots, you wouldn't hit every shot on the green, but yet we hit a shot that doesn't go on the green that might even be good contact, and we get upset about that. So one of the things is to understand what your dispersion pattern, understand what a normal shot is, and how that affects. Sorry, one moment here. I apparently have to confirm my age in order to go live on TikTok. Quick second here. So anyway, what is your dispersion pattern and what is a good shot? Again, if you had 50 shots going into a green, you're not going to hit the green on every shot. So why are we getting upset when we just missed the green when it's really within what our dispersion pattern is? Pros, talk about putts, right? We understand drives can go wild, right? If you hit a drive in the fairway, that's a great shot. Celebrate that, have fun, and understand that's a really good shot. But also understand that when you hit that one that goes maybe 30 yards to the right and maybe into the woods or maybe just into the rough, that's still not a bad shot. It's within your dispersion pattern. It's not a bad shot. And I think we just need to understand that and really just stop beating ourselves up for shots that are pretty good shots. I mean, if you chunk one and it goes, 10 or 15 yards, okay, maybe that wasn't your best shot. Maybe you should get a little upset about that. It's just such an epidemic when I go out and play, when I see people, they hit what are really good shots. And for them, and I'm like, that's a really good shot. And they're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, what? Because it didn't go perfectly straight down the middle, which is you would probably hit that shot maybe 1 out of 50, maybe 1 out of 100. So, but when it comes to putting, it's the same thing. Pros from 8 feet and in with putts only make 50% of their putts. Their putts don't always go in, but yet we go up. We've got 2 or 3 8-footers in a row, and we miss a couple of them, or we make one and then miss two, and we think, oh my gosh, I'm a terrible putter. I think the statistic is, and Lou Stagner would have to check me on this, but I think the statistic is for a 10 handicap player, or maybe it might be scratch or 5 handicap player. Their 50% make rate is only from 6 feet. So if you're a solid player, a single handicap or a scratch player, you're only going to make 50% of your 6-foot putts. Think about that. Next time you have a 6-foot putt and you make one and miss the next one, there's really no reason to get upset about that if you're managing your expectations correctly. Also, another thing is people get upset because, oh, I'm a 10 handicap and I didn't shoot 82 today, which would be 10 shots over. I shot 85 or 87 or 88. Well, you have to understand that the handicap system is set up, and it depends on which one you're using and where you are. But the handicap system is set up so that it is not what you shoot every time you go out. It's not what you normally shoot every single time. It's an average of your best 8 scores out of your last 20. So that's going to be lower. So if you go out and shoot an 82, if you're a 10 handicap, you had a really good round. But if you shoot an 85 or an 87, guess what? That's really not that bad. And I think that's the thing. It's like, oh, I asked somebody the other day, like, oh, did you have fun? And they're like, oh, it was bad. I'm like, was it bad? Was it really? And they're like, oh, I was whatever, and I shot 87. I was like, well, that's still not bad. I mean, that's within your range of possibilities. Yes, would you have rather shot 82? Yes, would you have rather shot 78? But are we depending on how we play and what we shoot? Is that what's going to determine if we have fun or not? And I think that's just a bad thing. It's just a bad judgment. I mean, there's enough things out in the world, if you look at the news or whatever, that we can get upset about. But we have a choice. Are we going to get upset when we play golf? Will we spend good money and time and go out and play golf? Or are we going to focus on our only our good shots? And I mean, I see people that go out, and my dad was really bad at this. You go out and play golf. I mean, he would talk about playing golf. He played golf all the time. But if you went out and played golf with him, you'd think he was having a horrible day. Like he would just not seem like he was happy at almost any point in time when he was playing golf. And he would hit a really good shot and he would say absolutely nothing. He wouldn't smile about it. He wouldn't fist pump. He wouldn't be like, oh, that was a great shot. You'd be like, hey, good shot. Like, okay. But if he hits a bad shot, boy, you'd hear about it. I feel like there's lots of golfers that are like that. I heard something the other day on a podcast and I thought it was pretty funny. It was on the Hack It Out podcast. Greg Chalmers was saying that what he wants to say when he's in a pro-am playing with amateurs is people get really upset hitting a shot. And it's kind of like what I said, like it's a normal shot for what they normally hit at whatever handicap they are. And he always wants to say, you're not good enough to be upset at that shot. And honestly, I mean, that's really the truth, guys. Like if you hit a shot that's not in the fairway and you get really upset about that, I mean, pros do it all the time. My gosh, I saw it in the British Open. They were all over the place. They were in the high grass. And honestly, at the end of the day, we're probably all not good enough to really be upset at where the golf ball goes. Again, also, it's a tough game. The golf ball's small, the clubs are tough, they're moving quickly. There's all kinds of things going on, let alone what the weather's doing, what the lie is that you get. I mean, just chipping around the green sometimes can be really, really difficult. So just be kind to yourself and try to have fun. One thing that I like to do myself, and I did this the other day, and it really worked very well, but is to set the objective to have fun on every shot. So I set that objective. That was my goal for the day, was not to shoot a certain number or shoot a certain score or make sure I have enough birdies or do anything like that. I wanted to make sure that I wanted to have fun on every shot. And did I do that on all the shots I shot that day? Probably not. In fact, I know I didn't. There was a couple of shots I got a little upset about, but each shot I did my best to have fun and enjoy the round. And I actually was playing pretty well. I tied my lowest round at the club. I shot 33 on the front nine. And now you're going to say, okay, sure, John, you shot 33, you tied your lowest. Of course you're having fun. And yes, I made 3 birdies, a bunch of pars, and had a great time. But also in the middle of that, I hit a couple of bad shots. And then not only did I shoot 33 on the front, but I shot 43 on the back. And normally 10 or 20 years ago, I would have been pretty livid after having such a good score on the front and then to blow it up or mess up my round on the back when I could have had a record round would have really made me upset. And I had like 3 or 4 really bad holes, or quote unquote bad holes, where I had some higher scores than I wanted. And I hit some shots definitely not where I wanted. But instead of getting upset about them, I understood where it was. I took it for what it was. And I was just like, okay, that's a shot. Let's go on to the next shot. And I kind of laughed a lot of it off. And I really had a great time. I ended up, shooting 76 is a good round. But it's interesting, my expectations after shooting 33 on the front nine, you would think, oh, good. You want to just shoot even par, or, maybe a couple over and shoot in the low 70s or whatever. And honestly, I wasn't even paying attention to what my score was. I didn't even have any idea of what my score was. I didn't even know, like, what was my score. I wasn't really paying attention. Like the guy keeping score for us, Mike was like, hey, he shot 33 on the front. I was like, awesome. I thought I had a good time. But then I went in the back nine with no expectations. I just was like, oh, okay, cool. I shot that. I had a couple double bogeys and some other bogeys and, shot 43 and still had a good time. So that's another thing that I like to teach my students is to try and not focus on your score. Now, I understand that when you're in a tournament and things are going on, whether you're in a high school tournament or a college tournament or an amateur tournament or even in a pro tournament, I understand there's a lot on the line, especially in a pro tournament. You've got money on the line, you've got sponsors, all kinds of things going on. But try to ignore what your score is. Yes, you need to write it down, and you're probably, if you're in a tournament, you're marking for your partner, or you're, putting it in on the app to see what to put in your live scoring for the live scoring app. But just put it in and just set it and forget it. Just kind of let it go. A great story about this was it was about 25, I don't know, it's been a long time ago, 25 years ago. And I hadn't broken 80 yet. And I was working and working and working on breaking 80. And I had shot 82 and 83 and 81. And I had shot quite a few 80s. And I was just getting so close. But it seemed like I was keeping track on my score. And as I got down to the last couple holes, especially the course I was playing at, it was a par 5. And so I always thought, oh, if I could birdie the. So I remember multiple times I went to the last hole where I was like, oh, a par or a birdie. And I'd shoot 79. And then I take like a double. And I just put that extra pressure on myself that I didn't need to do. Like, why would I need to put that extra pressure on myself to make sure I shot that score? And I just didn't understand that at the time, because this was a long time ago when I first started playing golf. And the time that I actually broke 80 for the first time, I was playing with a couple older guys. They were just having fun. I wasn't even keeping score. They were keeping score for me. And I didn't even look at my score. Like, I had absolutely no idea what my score was. And I knew I was playing okay. And then I came back down the last hole. I got a nice break off a tree on like 17 and kicked into the fairway. But I was just like, oh, cool. And then I go down, and the last hole was a par 5. And I ended up birdieing the last hole. And I was like, oh, wow, that was really good. I had 4 in the last hole. And I asked the guy, I was like, oh, I think I played pretty well. He's like, oh, you should be pretty happy with that. And honestly, I didn't know. Like, I didn't know if I broke 80 or not. And basically, it was because I hadn't been keeping my score. I hadn't been tallying it up. I hadn't put that extra pressure, unnecessary pressure on myself for that. And when he added it up, he's like, oh, yeah, you shot 77. I was like, 77? Wow. I mean, that obviously my lowest at the time, broke 80. But the key there was that I did focus on what my score was. I just played my game. I talked to my playing partner. I enjoyed the beautiful day and just had such a good time. And I think that's a really good lesson for us. I think we're very, very, very score dependent. Golf is one of those games where at the end of the round, they're like, we don't ever ask people, did you have fun? Or we always like, how did you do? And that means, how did you score? And when we try to figure out what we scored, so then we're going to base how we did on what our score was. So if we shot 95 or 105, we had a bad day and we're not happy the rest of the day. But if we shot 90, we break 100 or we break 90 or whatever, break 70 or break par, then we had a good day. I think that's just a silly way to score how we played in golf. And I understand that, yes, it's very score dependent. If you're playing a tournament, there's a leaderboard, but also just try to enjoy having fun. And the thing about enjoyment, and let me get my other camera to work again here, if I can. Oh, card is full. We'll have to check it out later. Anyway, but I think one of the things about enjoying things and having fun, that enjoyment is an art and not a science. There's a scientific way to go about trying to fix your golf swing and things like that. But trying to enjoy and have fun when you play golf is kind of an art form. And being that it's an art form, it can be different for each person. Each person can play differently and has a different thing that makes them happy or that they enjoy. I know when I play golf, obviously when we're playing quote unquote better and making birdies, it's fun. But I also try to look around and understand how, and just be like, wow, I'm outside. Golf courses are normally super beautiful. The grass is cut. Like, look at all this grass that I didn't have to cut myself. Like, look at this. Like, I'm not in my backyard where I'm like, oh, wow, I need to weed that and I need to cut that. I just look around and just like enjoy the beautiful grass and the beautiful day. See the birds in the sky. If it's a sunny day, enjoy the sun coming down and just enjoy the views. And golf courses can be so beautiful. So I just think that's such an important thing to do. But also, it takes some effort sometimes, especially if you haven't been enjoying golf for a long time, to actually have fun on the golf course is going to take some effort and some energy from you to change the way that you normally operate and to switch that around. Just like, lifting weights is going to strengthen your muscles. To strengthen your happy brain muscles, you have to start thinking about and practicing having fun. And maybe practicing having fun starts with when you're actually practicing, whether it's on the range or on the practice screen, and just maybe just kind of smile and be like, wow, this is really fun. I'm having a good time. Instead of, wow, I'm really grinding this out and having a tough time and really trying to work hard or work on my game or grinding the game. Instead, just like, wow, this is fun. And one of the best things that I like to challenge my students, and again, I challenge myself about this all the time, is the question is not, are you having fun? Because that's subjective. The question is, how can you have fun? And so, even if you're playing poorly, how can you have fun? Like, are you playing with one of your good friends? I did that on Sunday. I was playing with one of my good friends. So we were making jokes and cracking up and having a really good time. And it didn't matter how bad or good we were playing. We were just having fun. The company was fun. Maybe you're having a couple of beers and hanging out with people, or, like that can be fun, but just try to enjoy the entire thing of it. Like, here we are, we're on a golf cart, gas or electric golf cart usually, or I walk a lot. You're cruising around this beautiful place, this beautiful picturesque garden. We're playing a sport. Like, how much fun is that? So it's trying to find how can you have fun and what that means to you and how that works. And I just think that question of how can I have fun, even if you're not shooting your best round, how can you have fun? And I did ask myself that on Sunday when I was on the back nine. I was like, oh, this is not, I took a seven. It was actually a really good seven. Had to get up and down after an out of bounds shot to make a seven. And I was like, oh, well, that was fun. I made a long putt. So just try to enjoy each shot as you go along in each part of golf, and even like the in between part. Sometimes I'll hum a song or sing a song to myself while I'm out playing by myself. And I'm just having so much more fun that way. Um, Another part of this is trying to not let others affect your enjoyment. And I have a really interesting story about this on Tuesday. And so we were playing. I subbed in. I won't give you all the details. Anyways, I was playing a match against a guy in a league I subbed for, and apparently the guy wasn't real happy with me. And he was being basically a jerk. And I won't really go into details, but that was pretty much what was going on. And so I was letting him and the way he was acting affect the way I played, and how I was actually not so much the way I played, but how much fun I was having. And I should be taking my own advice here and just let you guys know that it can be tough sometimes. Like, the guy was definitely not having a good day, and he was just out to just kind of make sure I wasn't having a good day. And I'm not sure why or whatever, but I let that affect me, and I really let it affect me. In fact, I even was thinking about it the next day. And but what could I have done? And I even was asking myself as we were playing, like, okay, what can I do? Like, let's ignore what he's doing or how he's acting and just focus on myself. But I didn't do as good a job as I could have to get kind of, and sometimes you kind of got to get in your own bubble. Rory did this when he won the Masters, I think it was. He talked about really just getting into his bubble. He talked to Dr. Bob Rattel, his mental performance coach, psychologist, about this before. Like, how do you just get into your bubble and just kind of do your own thing and just enjoy what you're doing? Look at the fans, smile. I know Phil Mickelson does a good job of this a lot of the time. Bryson does too, although sometimes it doesn't look like he's enjoying it a whole lot. But interacting with other people, and how do I not allow the way somebody else is playing? And this could also be just somebody's having a bad day and they're, swearing and yelling and throwing clubs. And it's like, how do I not let that affect me in my round or my enjoyment of that day. And I think part of it is just kind of asking you the question, like, do I want to allow this person who's upset for whatever reason it is? I mean, I don't know what, it could be something from before or after, who knows why they're upset. Am I going to let this person affect my enjoyment of this day in this moment? And I think that's a really good question. And again, I didn't do that great of a job of it the other day. I think we've all got room for improvement. I enjoyed most of my round, but I did kind of let it get to me at certain points. But yeah, and so some of the things, some of the keys to enjoying what you're doing is, some tools and some tactics to do that are to have, in order to have more fun, is to focus on your breathing. Like if you're getting really stressed out, and let's say you're in a tournament and you're having a really tough time, focus on your breathing. The better you can breathe, the more it helps you to relax. I teach my students, and I do this myself. In fact, I did do this the other day, and it did help me. But I do box breathing. Box breathing is very easy to remember. It's 4-4-4-4 breathing. And basically, what you're doing is you're breathing in for a count of 4. So we're like 2, 3, 4. We're holding 1, 2, 3, 4. We're breathing out 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're holding on the out 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're breathing in all the way through it again. So that 4-4-4 breath is scientifically proven to help lower your heart rate, relax you on the course. And I have found that it really does help my enjoyment as well. Like I feel like I'm definitely enjoying, my enjoyment goes more when I'm able to calm down and relax and get my heart rate down to normal. Then you can kind of get out of that fight or flight mode. I know Navy SEALs and other military and different people that do things like that use this method as well to help them really be able to focus on what they're doing. And for you, what I want you to focus on what you're doing is I want you to focus on having fun with what you're doing and really, really enjoying that. Another thing that I teach my students and I do myself is, so after you've hit what you considered a poor shot, and then we talked about that in expectation management, but let's say you duff one off the tee or hit one in the water or whatever the situation is, it's normal to get upset and it's normal to kind of react. But ideally, we don't want to have a really big reaction. It's kind of like the bigger the reaction, if we're throwing a club or swearing or breaking a club, things like that, the bigger the reaction, it tends to stick with us for a longer period of time. And we want to be able to react to what's going on. Again, being upset is totally normal, but how do you shake off a poor shot? And I have a 3-step process that I teach my students on how to shake off a poor shot. The first part of this, and it kind of goes back to the breathing I just talked about, is take a deep breath. So let's say I hit a poor shot. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a deep breath, just like, and just kind of try to breathe out the anxiety or the stress or whatever I'm feeling in that moment. That'll also help you ground yourself. The next thing I do is I do something physical. I'll either snap my finger. I sometimes will slap my leg. I can also like maybe play with the grip on my golf glove, maybe do that, but something physical. And I like the snapping or the slapping of your leg a little bit to really pull you into the moment, back into the present moment. Because usually when we're upset, it's about one of two things. It's either about something that's happened in the past, the bad shot you hit, or what you project in the future, like what you think your score is going to be in the future. That's making you upset. Like, oh no, I hit this out of bounds. So now I'm not going to shoot a good score, not win this tournament. So what I like to do is I take a deep breath. I do something physical. I snap my fingers, snap my leg, and then I say a mantra. And the mantra for me is usually on to the next, like on to the next shot. So we breathe to kind of release that anxiety and to bring us into the present moment. We do something physical, And then we have a positive saying that we say. And like I said, I'll take a deep breath, snap my fingers, and just be like, on to the next. And that helps me get right into the present moment and hit the best shot that I can for the next shot. Because ultimately, that's all that matters, anyways, is what your shot is going to be. Like, what's the next shot and how you can hit that shot. What happened in the past, you can't do anything about. And what's going to happen in the future, you can't do anything about either. So I'm going to get some water. I've been drinking quite a bit here. Let me see if I've got some, check to see if we've got some questions here. See if anybody's done this. Let's see. All right. Let's check to see. I've got, okay, a couple questions here. All right. All right. Let's see. Shaking off poor shots. What if you only hit poor shots? Okay, that's possible. That's really funny. That's a great one. Let's see if we've got anybody else here. All right. Let's see. All right. Enjoyment is not a science. All right. Let's get this thing going. Oh, I think I'm actually going to be able to go live on TikTok here too. So, all right. Real quick intro, Coach Lemmon here. So, by the way, Coach John Lemmon, johnlemmon.com, mental performance golf coach. I give lessons in person in the Dayton and Cincinnati area. I also do virtual lessons all over the country and the world. And I'm coaching, I've got a Division II college or a college player that I coach. I coach some high school students. I coach some amateurs that play in tournaments. I've coached some professionals. So I've kind of got a whole range of who I coach, from people that are very serious about golf to people that are just having a good time, and kind of all age ranges too. I've coached couples. I've coached all kinds of different students. So if you're looking for some insight into your game or need some help with your mental performance, please go to johnlemmon.com. But let's get back to what we're talking about, which is how to have fun and enjoy golf when you're playing golf. Now, we had a question here, and somebody had asked, what if you only hit bad shots? So let's go back to what we talked about earlier with the expectation management. So let's say you're just a beginning golfer, and you just started playing golf and you're only hitting bad shots. So what does that mean? What does a bad shot mean? A bad shot, if you just got started, might be missing the golf ball. To me, that would be maybe a bad shot. But if you hit the golf ball, I think that's a good shot. So again, it goes back to expectation management. If you went to the driving range and hit 50 shots, you're going to have a wide range, a wide dispersion of what your golf ball does. And so with that, what I think you should do, let's say you've got 8-iron, you're going to hit 50 shots, even just 20 shots to the same target, and just look at what your dispersion is and how far all of those golf balls are away from where your target is. And if you go out on the course and you hit a shot that's within that target range, within that circle, then that's a good shot. That's an expected shot. It's expected to be within what your physical ability is. So it doesn't matter if you're a pro and have a smaller dispersion range with an 8-iron or whatever club you're hitting, or if you're an amateur, or if you're just a beginner and your dispersion range is really, really big. Just understand that that is what your game is. Again, we talked about it earlier. Golf is an interesting game. This is a wedge here, but look at this. Like, how do you even, logically, if you were an alien, you came down and you're like, okay, what's this golf thing? Well, what we got is we have this club. It's very long. It has this very small head. We've got a very small golf ball. We have a very small margin for error because we want to hit it right there in the sweet spot. That's all we want to do is just hit it right in the middle. But how often do you hit it in the sweet spot? Well, even if you're a pro, you don't always hit it very in the sweet spot. And if you're an amateur or someone, that doesn't play a lot, or even if you're a 10 handicap or 5 handicap, we hit the ball all over the place. Well, so this must be an easy game. You've got this goofed up club. You've got a very small ball. And then, oh, well, everything must be real easy, just like, in baseball or soccer or whatever. It's a flat field. Oh, no, 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 no. It's not a flat field. This is going to be, you could be on side hill, uphill. Okay, cool. But you're always in the grass. Oh, no, no, no. You can head out of the woods. You can have tall grass. You can have thin grass. You can have uh, bunkers. They put water. They put mud. There's all kinds of things that are out there to make the game more difficult and more fun. And so the game is really challenging and can be difficult. And I think understanding that this is a perfect example. I was giving a lesson to one of my students, Emma, yesterday, and we were talking about hitting, we were doing a short game lesson. We were doing chip shots from around the green. And one of the things about that was I was trying to get her used to different lies and different grasses. And so we had kind of the practice green at the club has some pretty nice grass around it and a little bit rough, but then there was some really high rough. And so I had her practice a bunch of more of the easier chip shots. And then I kind of put some sitting down. But then just for fun, we put some in the really high rough. And in the high rough, she noticed that, and we talked like, it's tough to hit that shot. And so her expectation from when she had what would be considered a really good lie, where she can put the club on the back of the ball, was much higher to how close she thought she could get the club or get the ball to the hole than when she's down with a really tough lie. I mean, the rough was probably a couple inches, and no matter what we did, the ball would kind of fall down in there. And so, how far or how close to the hole she would hit the shot out of the rough was totally different. So her expectations, I mean, for her, for that shot that I gave her, the expectation was, I told her, it's like, a good shot for you is to just get it on the green. If you get it on the green, you did a great shot. And she hit most of it on the green from there. But then when she was a little closer and had what would we call maybe an easier shot, her expectation was like, okay, if we can get this within 10 feet, that's a really good shot. Within 4 or 5 feet, that's an amazing shot. But if we can just get it on the green, it's a good shot. So I think expectation management really has to do with what the golf shot is. Like if you're in the bunker and you're like, so the pros do really well out of the bunker most of the time, but that's what they do. They do this for a living. They get paid millions of dollars. They practice this all the time. They're really good at that. So you and I are amateurs or 10 handicap or people just getting started. If you're in the bunker and you hit the shot and it gets out of the bunker, I think that's a win. I think that's a total win. I think that's a really good shot. And I think that's what I'm talking about with lowering your expectations and managing your expectations and understanding what really is a good shot for your game and not getting upset when you actually hit what's a good shot for you. I mean, we talked about this a minute ago, but it really, really is important to understand what a good shot is. A perfect example, I won't name names, but a good friend of mine was playing golf the other day, and the guy's not the best player. He's probably 25. I don't think he keeps handicap. He might be a 30 handicap, something like that, right? The guy doesn't play a ton of golf. He just kind of got started. And he hit a shot from the fairway with like his fairway wood, and it went about 20 yards left of his target. And he was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. And I just started laughing. And I was like, man, that was a really good shot for you. And I wasn't trying to demean him or give him a hard time, but I'm like, this was a good shot. Like, you hit a good shot. Yes, it didn't go exactly where you wanted it, but I guarantee if this guy hit 20 golf shots from that exact spot with that lie, with that club, he would, I mean, maybe be able to hit one better than that. But it was such a good shot. He hit a good shot. So I told him, like, man, you got to stop giving yourself a hard time about this. And again, I talked about earlier, I heard this on a podcast where they said, what you always want to say is, you aren't good enough to be upset at that shot. And I wanted to tell him that, but I thought that was kind of a dig. So, but I think, again, expectation management, understanding what your game is and what a good shot is for you is so important. And I just can't stress that enough. And I think that's one of the big keys to having fun, having more fun, and enjoying golf. The other thing is, why aren't we having fun playing golf? Golf is a game, right? It's a game. We pay for it. We spend a lot of time away from our friends and family. And to do this, we practice. If you're serious about it, we spend a lot of money on golf clubs and golf balls. Don't get me started. Golf balls are expensive. I like to play the best, and you lose them and you beat them up. So we spend all this time and money and energy, and then we're just not happy about this. It's playing a game. I mean, just think about, I think one of the best ways to start trying to have fun playing golf is just to kind of go back to when you first started playing golf. Maybe it was as a kid and it was just like, you didn't care what your score was. You were outside playing with your friends and your buddies. Like, you were just having fun. And I think that's the key, is like, how do we capture that? How do we have fun playing golf, playing this amazing game, and not worry about what we're shooting, what the last shot was, how the round is going. Am I going to shoot my best round? Am I going to win? Am I not going to win? And I think that's just so important. It's just a huge, important part for managing our expectations and just trying to have fun playing this amazing game. And trust me, guys, I have the same problem as you. An amazing story that I don't like to tell, but it's a really good one. And this happened quite a few years ago. In fact, this story kind of is what got me started. What got me started down the path of becoming a mental performance golf coach was I was playing with my good friend Rob, and shout out to Rob. And I was playing with Rob, and it was the league, and it was the finals. And I had been playing great all year, I think, for 9 holes. It was a 9-hole league. I think I was like a 2 handicap, and I was playing great. I was shooting even par. And so in the finals, we go against this team, and there was no handicaps involved, and we were playing a 2-man scramble. And I was like, well, gosh, I played so good. I could just beat these guys. Like, I don't even need Rob to play. We're going to win. And I started off, and, it's one of those days where, like, I just couldn't hit a good shot. I wasn't really good. My mental game was definitely not there. I did not do a very good job of that. It was something I needed to learn a few years later. And the other team was just playing amazing. And the better they played, the worse we played. And it came down to the last hole. And we have a putt for birdie. And it's like, I think, an 8 or 10-foot putt. We have a putt for birdie to win. All we have to do is make this to win. And in fact, if they miss their putt, which they ended up missing, we just have to 2-putt to win the league. And so Rob putts, I missed the putt. I'm just a little upset about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, that's okay. And not only do we miss it, we both launched it by about 4 feet. So we've got this 4 or 5 footer coming back to win. He misses his, I step up, miss mine. And I'm so upset that I take my putter and I throw it. And I don't do this I definitely don't do this anymore. But I throw my putter and it goes into the bunker that was just next to the green. And to add insult to injury, not only was it a bunker, but it had rained a bunch. And so the bunker was full of water. So not only did I look like a complete dummy, I also needed to go tap in the putt to make sure that we finished, even though we lost. And I had to go fish my putter and dry it off after I threw it into a sand-filled bunker. So that's an example of not having fun playing golf. And also, after that was really, in retrospect, that was really what got me started on, like, okay, I can play really well in this circumstance. How can I play well when I'm under pressure or when I'm not playing well? And that actually kind of led me down, kind of started me off on my journey to becoming a mental performance golf coach years and years later. So anyways, terrible story for me, probably great story. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And it's just an example of expectations. And if my expectations weren't so high, and if I wasn't so focused on winning and the score I was shooting or the putt I was making, I could have been just like really enjoying that instead of getting so upset and throwing my putter into the bunker that was filled with water. And occasionally, Rob does a really good job of giving me a little dig, and he'd be like, hey, that's just like somebody throwing their putter into a bunker. And I appreciate that when he tells me that, because it's a good reminder to show that to just not take yourself so seriously. So one question that I did get was, how do you enjoy golf? Let's see, I can't see who it's from, but how do you enjoy golf with these crowded golf courses? I mean, we're playing on a weekend on a Saturday morning. It can be a 5 or 6 hour round, and it can be really frustrating. I can just get so mad. And, usually you get mad at the people in front of you, which could be playing slow, but it's usually just kind of a slow day. And so the question is, we're talking about having fun playing golf. And how can you have fun playing golf when we're having a 5 or 6 hour round? I think this is a great question. I really thanks for the question. But how do you have fun? And it goes back to the first thing I talked about, expectation management. So if you go to a public course and you book a tee time for like 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning, if you're lucky to get the tee times, they're booking up quite a bit. We have so many new golfers coming in since COVID, which has been awesome. You kind of have to understand that you're going to be there for, like, especially if you play this every week. Let's say you play the same course every week, you book about the same tee time, and the round takes 5.5 hours. Well, guess what? If you get upset because the round takes 5.5 hours, and you know this, and it happens that way every week, that's pretty much on you. You just have to lower your expectations and understand that this is going to be a long round. Just like the British Open right now. I mean, they've had I think 6 hour rounds. It's just absolutely brutal how long it's taking to play golf. But if the players in that tournament, if Rory and whoever it is, if they get upset, Scotty Scheffler is a good example. If he allows himself to get upset with the pace of play and how long the round is taking, it's going to affect his game, and he's going to play worse. And not only is he going to play worse, he's not going to have a lot of fun doing it, and he's not going to enjoy what he's doing. But that's going to be on him, because if you understand that it's going to take this amount of time and you know that ahead of time, then the next question is, I'm going to be playing golf. I paid good money. I'm spending a lot of time doing this. How can I have fun playing golf? And so if it's a 5 or 6 hour round, maybe the round is less about the golf and how you play, and it's more about the people that you play with and having fun with the players you have. And I think that's the key. It's all about what our expectations and what we think is going to happen. And I tell my students this all the time, that no matter what happens to you, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, you have a choice on what you believe that means to you. So if I go out and I book a tee time and it takes 5.5 hours to play, let's say I'm on vacation, and I get really upset about that, and that really bothers me, and it affects my game. Well, that's the decision I made. I made a decision in that moment that because we're playing slowly and it's taking 5 hours, that I'm not happy with the situation. But I had that decision. I made that decision. It was completely up to me. I could also look at the situation and be like, hey, that's cool. I booked out the rest of the day. I'm not doing anything right now. I'll get to my chores at home or whatever I'm waiting on later, and I'm just going to enjoy every moment of this. In fact, honestly, sometimes when I walk or play by myself or play with just a couple people, we play pretty quickly. Like at my club, I could walk 9 holes in like an hour and a half, right? But sometimes that's not as much fun. Like, yes, I get done and I can get back to what I'm doing, but it's just not as much fun. And sometimes having a little bit of a longer round to me is a little more enjoyable. I can take a little more time reading my putts. I can take a little more time analyzing my shots. I can take maybe a little more time, writing down my stats, or understanding where my golf game is, or learning something or practice the swing. And more importantly, I think I can have better conversations with my friends and enjoy hanging out. I mean, that's the whole point. So here's a good question for you guys. Why are you playing golf? Are you playing golf to be pissed off and and get upset about it? Or are you playing golf to have fun and to enjoy this amazing game out on a beautiful course on a beautiful day, and to get some exercise and just to have a great time? And I think that's really the important part about this, is what brings you joy and why are you doing this? And if you play golf and you can't have fun, I mean, sign up for a lesson. We'll get you through. I am a mental performance golf coach, so I can totally help you with that. But like, why are we doing this? And again, I talked about it earlier, but my dad, I love him, God rest his soul. My dad, when he played golf, and I love playing golf with my dad. I mean, he would try to get off work early, and we would go play golf. And he talked about golf a lot, and he just you'd think he would just have this amazing time when he plays golf. But when he was on the course, he would just be so upset. And now my dad didn't swear, but he would just be like, he'd hit a shot and be like, "Good night, nurse," or "Oh, I hit it in jail." That was one of his famous lines. And you watched him play, and you would think he was just having an absolute terrible time. And I'm like, "Dad, why aren't we having a good time? Like, you hit a shot in the woods. Like, so what? Let's just enjoy it. You're here with your son." And so I think that was a really good lesson for me early on, playing golf with my dad and understanding. I think the funny part about it was, it's like he would hit a really good shot, and my dad was pretty good at golf. Like, you would go, like, if you were watching him play, and man, I wish this was back when, I was filming all my golf rounds and I could record my dad playing golf, because you would watch him and you would listen to him, and you would just like, if I wasn't keeping score, and he usually kept score, by the end of the round, if I like, just by watching on the outside, and I'd be like, "All right, what did this guy shoot?" And you're like, "Oh, this guy had to shoot like 100, right?" He had to shoot 95 or 100 or 105. I'm like, "Oh, Dad, what'd you shoot?" You're like, "Oh, I shot 85." And you're like, "What do you mean you shot 85? You're complaining on 90% of your shots. How could you have possibly shot that low of score?" In fact, excuse me, one of his friends, one time I played golf with him when my dad wasn't there, and he's like, "I'm not sure your dad shot all these low scores." And I'm like, "Well, if you just looked at him from the outside, you'd think he's having a miserable day and shooting the worst round of his life." When in fact, dad would be shooting like, he'd shoot an 85 or an 86, and you'd just be like, "It seemed like you shot about a 105 or like 120." So, and I think the best part about it is like, if he hit a good shot, he would not say a word, and he'd be like, "Oh, good shot," and he'd just go on. Like, my dad would like hit a couple bad shots or whatever and go up to the green, and then just like chip in or chip it up with a tap in, and it's like make a par, and just like, "Okay, that was really, really, really good." And he just like, whatever. So he like blew off all the good shots, and then really got upset with his bad shots. And I think that's just such a good lesson for us, because I really think it needs to be switched around. If we can shake off the shots that are the ball, where the ball goes where we don't want it to go, I think we can start having more fun. And the other part about this is understanding. I mean, like we talked about it, expectation management. Like, pros don't hit the golf ball where they want all the time. And if you think they do, go back and watch the replay of Bryson playing the last 2 days in the British Open. That guy was not hitting the ball where he wanted to go. And this is an elite golf ball striker. Like, even like Scotty Scheffler or Rory or whoever, when they're having a great day, if you watched every shot of them playing, you would see that they are not hitting the golf ball where they want most of the time. And I think that's what we have to understand. We're not going to hit the golf ball because of the way the game is, because of the way the club is, and the ball is hard. And then, you've got weather, you've got wind, I mean, all kinds of things going on. Because of that, we're not going to hit the golf ball. Best players in the world, pros, do not hit the golf ball where they want all the time. And I feel like we just need to understand that. So if we hit a shot that misses the fairway and it's in the rough and the trees, it's not a terrible shot. It's still a decent shot. Did it go where we wanted? No. But just watch pros. They don't hit it where they want all the time. And I think part of the problem, too, is that our expectations are so high because, you hit that one shot that was so good. You hit that one drive, and not realizing that that was an anomaly and it was a really good shot. I mean, if you think about it, if you hit a 250-yard drive down the middle, your club head speed was probably, you might have, think about it. You've got this tiny little ball, you've got it teed up, and your club is traveling maybe close to 100 miles an hour, maybe 95 miles an hour. And then you've got to get the club face square enough to hit that straight. And then you've got to judge the wind and the conditions and where you're standing and the lie and everything else. And you're upset because you hit that a couple degrees offline. I mean, 3 or 4 degrees offline where your club face is 3 or 4 degrees open or closed with your driver. I mean, that could put it 40 or 50 yards offline. And that's a very, very, very small margin for error. In golf, the margin for error are so small, and we beat ourselves up so much. And the thing that I'm really committed to is helping everybody, helping you guys have more fun playing golf. And I think the number one thing is to lower your expectations. Part of it is we watch golf on TV. And not only, if you watch a 4-day golf tournament, like if you're watching the British Open right now, not only are you watching the top 150 players or whatever it is in the world only on the first 2 days, playing their best to get into that. But when you're watching the weekend on Saturday and Sunday, you're watching not only the best players in the world, but you're watching the best players in the world that are playing the best that they've ever played. And usually they don't show the guys down at the bottom that aren't playing that good. They're not showing the guy that's shooting 72 or 75. They're showing the top of the leaderboard. And not only that, they're not showing every single shot of the people at the leaderboard. So not only are they not showing all of the players playing, they're usually not showing all of the bad shots. I mean, you guys see this all the time. They cut to, on the broadcast, they cut to somebody and you're like, okay, I haven't seen, Lucas, or whoever the golfer is, I haven't seen this guy play today. That's the only shot they show. Let's see, he has a 50-foot putt. Guess what? It goes in. Or he's got a chip shot from off the green. You're like, oh, I haven't seen Minwoo Lee play all day long. I wonder if this shot goes in. Of course it goes in. They're curating the golf tournament to show you the best shots and the shots that go in because those are the most fun to watch. But the problem is we get conditioned. So we see the best players in the world playing the best they possibly can, leading a tournament, and we see them playing so well, shot after shot after shot. And then we go out and play, and we think that we need to shoot or we need to hit shots like they do, and it's just not possible. And not only is it not possible, like I kind of like the live stream or the where they have the special groups for tournaments like this, where you can watch, the group. So it's a threesome or a twosome, and you watch every shot that they hit. It's really interesting. Like try that, because when you watch every single shot that professional golfers are hitting or playing in a tournament, they are not hitting the ball where they want a lot of the time. I mean, even when they hit a good drive in the fairway, it's maybe not quite on line, or they'll miss a fairway a little bit. And I feel like, again, I'm just being, just keep talking about this, but expectation management and understanding, we'll kind of go back to it a little bit. Let's just understand what a good shot is. So PGA pros, pro golfers from 8 feet on the green, a putt, they only make 50% of their putts from 8 feet. They don't always make all their putts. I think it's either scratch golfers or 5 handicap golfers, really, really good golfers, top, 10 or 5% in the world golfers, make 50% of their putts, and I believe it's from 6 feet. So the expectations for us, when we go hit a 6 or an 8 foot putt, we expect to make it. Part of it because we see them make it all day long on the golf course. And our expectations are so high. But if we make half, if you're a 20 handicapper and you make half of your putts from like 5 feet, that's great. And if for some reason you're having a great day and you make 2 or 3 long putts from like 10 feet or 15 feet out, you're having an absolute amazing day. And there's no reason to get upset if the next time you go out, you miss, 10 or 12 footers. It's just our expectations are just so high on that. And I think that just doesn't help us really enjoy the game. And another part of that is the handicap system, right? So if you're a 10 handicap, which is a decent player, if you're a 10 handicap, you go out and you think that your handicap is 10, so that means you're going to shoot 82 on a course that's a 72 rated or whatever it is with all the slope and all that other stuff. Don't get me into that. But if you don't shoot 82, you're upset. When in reality, the way the math works on the GHIN handicap system is it takes your best 8 rounds out of your last 20 and averages those for what your handicap is. Your handicap is lower than what you would normally go out and shoot. And they do that just to make it more interesting, because it's kind of like you could play better instead of, like, I don't know, whatever. That's just how they do it. The point is, your handicap is not the average of what you go out and shoot. So if you're a 10 handicap and you don't shoot 82 and you shoot 85, that was still a good round. You still did a good job. And there's no reason to be upset about that and to not be happy about that and to just beat yourself up I mean, the worst is when we go out and play golf, we spend time, we spend money, we do all this, we go out and play golf, and then we're upset about our score for like the next day. And trust me, guys, I used to do this all the time. I used to be upset. In fact, I used to get so upset when I was younger, probably 25 years ago, when I was in my early 20s, when I played golf and I didn't shoot what I thought I wanted to shoot, that I would have to talk myself. I'd always be like, oh, I'm talking myself off a ledge after a round of golf. And it's not really talking myself a ledge, but I would just be like, oh, I played terrible. Back then I was pretty decent. It's like, oh my gosh, I shot 87. Oh my God, I'm a horrible person. My life's terrible. And then I'm like, no, I have a nice wife. I have a good job. I have a nice car. Like, I'd have to talk myself down from being upset for like hours afterwards, when really it was just kind of an off round. I mean, the next day you can go out and shoot a good round. Another part about enjoying golf, and I think is kind of an epidemic for people, is people do not enjoy when you're playing well. When you're playing well, you're just like, oh, that's just how it goes. That's just how it should be. A very good example of this, again, won't name names, but a girl that was on the golf team that I coached was a really good player, and her father was pretty hard on her about stuff. And I mean, he was a good guy, but he wouldn't congratulate her a lot when she was doing things. He had high. Again, his expectations were too high. Well, the one day we're playing in a tournament, we're coming down, a couple holes left. She hits an absolute beautiful drive on this par 4. It just smokes it. I think she went 240. I mean, for her, it was like, probably her best drive on that hole of the year. It was absolutely perfect. So she's got, I forget the yardage in, she's got like 140 yards or something like that in. I was there to kind of help coach her through the shot. And I was like, hey, this is a good shot. We've got this shot going in. What are you going to use? I think she's hitting 6-iron from 140, 150 yards. She hits the shot, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's one of the best shots that she shot of all year, and it ends up about 4 or 5 feet away for eagle on this par 5. And I was just like, that was awesome. Giving her a high five. That is so great. And then as we go up, she goes up towards the green, and then I kind of drive my golf cart to go up and kind of meet her up there to watch. And I drive by her dad. And I was like, what a great shot, right? And he's like, oh, about time. And I just was like, my mind was blown. I'm like, about time. I'm like, she just hit a career shot. She's a senior. This might be the best hole she's ever played, the best she's ever played this hole. And he's like, oh, it's about time. About time that she hit the 1 in 100 best shot she could possibly hit. 2 back-to-back shots. Again, our expectations are just so high, and we're not giving people a chance to really enjoy the game. When you're playing well, high five people. Give a fist pump. Be like, yes, have a good time. I mean, if you're subtle, just do it on the inside. Or if you're in a tournament, you don't want to be obnoxious. I don't know. I'm kind of obnoxious sometimes. I don't mind doing that. But just be just like on the inside. Just be like, John, that was a really good shot. Or whoever it is. Jeff was a great shot. Just a wonderful shot. And just enjoy that. Enjoy when you're playing well. And then when you're not playing well, enjoy that too. And I think that's the trick, because I feel like I see people do both sides. When they're playing poorly, they're upset, they're throwing clubs, they're swearing. When they're playing well, they're worried about the next hole and not playing well. Like, oh well, you had a cut. Let's say you're a good player, you get 3 birdies in a row, or you like what I shot 33 the other day on the front nine. After that front nine, I could have thought, oh wow, well, don't want to mess it up on the back. Well, no, just enjoy it. Like, just enjoy the moment that you're playing well, but then also enjoy when you're not playing well, because that's also part of the game. If you played well all the time, sounds weird, you'd get bored with it and it wouldn't be that exciting. I mean, that's what's so great about golf is we don't know what's going to happen. I feel like some of the best parts about playing golf are the expectations of what's going to happen in that next round. Like, oh my gosh, I'm excited to play. Like, what could possibly happen? And then people go out and then they're miserable for 4 or 5 hours or 6 hours. And I just don't understand that. And I just really feel like we just need to manage our expectations and keep asking ourselves. And this is what I've been asking my students a ton lately is, it's not, are you having fun? Because that's kind of subjective. It's not that. It's how can you have fun? What can you do right now to have fun in this moment on the golf course? It doesn't matter what happened in the past. It doesn't matter what's going to happen in the future. It only matters about what's going on in this moment. And one of the big things that I have done, especially over the last few years, I've done it for quite a few years, but really concentrated a lot on it lately, is meditation. And I think meditation can really, really help you in multiple ways, and not in your golf game. Like, it's totally helped my golf game, for sure, but it also really helps me in life. And what it does, and I'm not talking about having to do, an hour-long meditation and sit in a specific, excuse me, that's the old dry, or sit in a specific stance or anything like that. I'm talking just like sitting there for 5 or 10 minutes and just closing your eyes and focusing on your breath and allowing the thoughts to come in and just observing them. The more you can do this, the more you can give yourself the space between stimulus and response. And what does that mean? Meditation helps give you space between stimulus and response. And what that means is, when you have a stimulus, like let's say you hit a bad shot, or in life, somebody says something to you that upsets you, the more I meditate, and I'm talking, I don't do it a ton. I do it probably average, maybe 4 times a week. On a good week, maybe 10 minutes a time, maybe 5 minutes, something like that on average. And it really, really has helped my enjoyment of life. But what happens is, the more you do that, the more you train your brain to observe what happens before you respond. So you observe, let's say you hit a bad shot. Let's say you hit a really bad shot or whatever it is, and you hit it in the water, or I hit one out of bounds. Let's say I hit my drive out of bounds. In the past, I would slam my club down, I start yelling, I make a big mess of it. But since I've been doing meditation, I'm getting better and better at seeing that shot, observing it, seeing that I'm getting upset. And being upset is part of life. Like, it's an emotion and it's totally fine to be upset. Nothing wrong with that. But to be upset, and then there's just a little bit of the space where I can make a decision on how I'm going to react. Again, in the past, I'd probably slam my club down. I'm like, oh, blah, blah, I'd say whatever. But instead, I hit that shot, and then I'm like, I can feel, I'm upset, but I'm like, but that's okay, and just kind of give myself some grace. And even though, like, early in the year, when I was having some trouble with my driver, and shout out to Josh Jackson Golf. I had a lesson with him recently on my driver. I've got the lesson is on a video. It's coming out on my YouTube channel. That'll be coming out hopefully later today. But when my driver was kind of all over the place early in the year, I hit 3 balls out of bounds. 3 brand new, beautiful Pro V1 Titleist, right over the fence, hit the road and into the woods, never to be seen again. One I almost hit a car with, but I hit 3 drives out of bounds, back to back to back on this par five. And the first one, I turned it over and it wasn't, it went a little farther left um, than I would have liked had the face closed. It wasn't a terrible shot. But the next one was really not that bad. And then the last one that went out of bounds, I mean, I hit it pretty straight and it just turned over a little bit. So instead of really getting upset about that, I just was like, okay, I should have probably aimed a little farther right with the way I was hitting that shot. So instead of getting super upset about it, but I'm telling you, because I meditate and because I've been doing that and practicing meditation and mindfulness for so long, I was able to shake that off and just be like, this is part of golf. Let me go hit my seventh shot off the tee. And it was not very good either way, the other way. And which another comedy of errors. I ended up taking like a 13 on that hole. So in the past, in fact, in the past, especially when I was younger in my 20s, I probably I would have gone nuts. And I was just playing by myself. I mean, it's like the score, whatever, who cares? I would have gone nuts. I might have just gone straight home. I might have just been like, you know what? Blank, F golf. I'm at, F this, I'm mobile, and just gone home and just been upset the rest of the day. So instead, I've trained myself to kind of laugh that off. Was I happy about the results? Was I happy taking a 13 on a par five? That might be the highest I've ever done. I don't even know. Like, it's probably the highest because I, probably don't always count all my strokes when I was younger or whatever. But like taking a 13 on a par five, like, yes, of course, it wasn't ideal. I didn't want to do that. But also, it just happened. And I kind of turned it around to be like, this will be a good story. When I first did it, I was like, this is a really good story, and I'm not going to tell anybody about it because it's really embarrassing. And I'm a golf coach, and I'm helping people play golf, and I took a 13 on par five. But eventually, I was able to just just enjoy it and laugh it off, and just be like, hey, this is just part of golf. I mean, you see pros do stuff like that; they can take high numbers on holes, and it's just kind of part of the process. And what can happen on the next hole. And I think this is another way to enjoy golf. And I think the expectation of having, like, I want you to have a good expectation when you're playing. I want you to expect for good things to happen. I want you to step up to a par three and expect to make a hole in one and just be like, oh, but then once you've hit the shot, we just need to accept the shot and move on. Just accept the shot and move on. We want to expect to hit a good shot, because that will help you hit better shots. The better you expect, the better you do your pre-shot routine, the better you focus on what your target is, the better you do your swing cues or whatever it is, the better you hit shot. But also to just accept the shot. Like, I accepted the 3 balls I put out of bounds and the 13 I took on that and just moved on. And then my expectation, the next hole was a par 3. So my expectation on the holes was, hey, what can happen? What can happen on this? I could hit a hole in one. It's been, if you guys are following my series, it's been 4,200. It's almost been 4,300 days. Been over 11 years since I've had a hole in one. I've had 2 hole in ones, but it's been a super long time. So instead of me getting upset and worrying about what just happened on that hole, instead I'm like, you know what? This could be exciting. And one of the things I like to teach my students, and something that I like to do too, is looking for unexpected miracles when you're playing golf. If you're always looking for something unexpected and happy and really, like a good break or something to happen, it's very hard to be upset. If you're expecting or if you're not even expecting, but if you're just looking for something great to happen or something fun to happen, it's definitely definitely easier to be happy and to enjoy playing golf. And I think that's the beauty of golf is, again, if we hit all good shots and shot well all the time, we still wouldn't be happy with that. And the variability in golf is just so much fun. And I think that's why it's one of the greatest games. I think it's the greatest game. Obviously, I'm a little biased as a mental performance golf coach, but I think golf is such a good game because you don't know what's going to happen. And that's so much fun. Like, oh, the next hole, like, I can make a birdie on this hole, or I could make a par, or I could do something fun, or I could pull off a fun shot, or I could make a long putt. And I just think having that expectation that something amazing is going to happen and something fun is going to happen is so great and so important for trying to have a really good time playing golf. And if you guys have any questions, I'm going to take a quick break to drink some water here and breathe. I don't feel like I'm breathing. And see if I can answer some questions about how to have more fun playing golf. So if you just tuned in, I'm John Lemmon, Coach Lemmon. I'm a mental performance golf coach. I'm in the Dayton and Cincinnati area. I do in-person lessons in those areas. And then I also do virtual lessons, and I do those all across the country and all over the place. And if you're looking to get the edge in playing better and most importantly, enjoying golf more, please check out johnlemmon.com. It's JOHNLEMMON.com. And we can set up something, send me an email, or go ahead and purchase a lesson package, and I can work with you on your game and help you with your game. But back to enjoying golf and having fun playing golf. I had mentioned this earlier, but I want to kind of mention it again and kind of go off it. So when you've hit what you think is a poor shot and you're upset, how do you shake that off? And what I teach my students on how to shake that off is a 3-step, very simple process. The first part, and we talked about breathing earlier, is you take a deep breath. So after I've hit, let's say I hit the shot out of bounds, right? So to make sure that I'm not, what has happened in the past and what I just did does not affect me going forward, I want to do 3 things. I want to take a deep breath and really just focus on that exhale. Then I want to do, the second thing is I want to do something physical. I usually snap my fingers or slap my leg, and that brings you back into the present moment, brings you back into what's going on right now, not what just happened. And then I say a positive phrase, and my phrase is on to the next. So if you're able to do this simple 3-step process to help shake off a little Taylor Swift, a little shake it off action, if you can shake off a poor shot, it will do wonders for your game. Because I feel like part of the trick with golf is not taking what has happened already and bringing that into the next shot. Like what you've already done, you can't control. It's already done. If you've hit a bad shot or, I hit one out of bounds, well, guess what? I can't pull that back out of bounds. I can't take the scuff off the ball because I hit the road and get it out of the woods. And I can't pull that back. There's no time machine. So instead, let's enjoy the next shot. And how do you do that? You shake it off. Take a deep breath. I do something physical, snap my fingers, slap my leg, and then I'll say something positive. And again, the phrase I like to say is just on to the next. Because on to the next, like, of course, like, who cares? The only thing that really matters in golf, and especially if you're trying to play well and shoot a low score, is what the next shot is. Golf is a next shot sport. It's the next shot. That's all that it's about. So hopefully you guys can take that. I think that's a really good thing. I love teaching my students that 3-step process. I'll go over it real quick on how to shake off a poor shot. Step 1 is to take a nice, deep, cleansing breath. And really focus on that exhale, just exhaling any anxiety or animosity or anger or anything you have. The second thing is to do something physical. You could snap your fingers, slap your leg. Some people will just take their glove on and off. Something physical to get you back in the present moment, and then repeat a positive phrase. And the phrase I like to say is on to the next. You could also say just something like, oh, well, this is golf. Golf is fun. Well, I'm so blessed to be here. Anything that's gratitude or something along those lines is really, really helpful. But I hope that can really, really help you guys at home. And let's see if we've got any questions coming up here. Let's see what's going on. If anybody's left any questions. Let's see. We answered the question about the 5-hour round, shaking up. Okay, somebody did ask about that, how to shake off shots. Well, hopefully that can help you guys at home when you've hit a bad shot to shake it off. Hopefully that's working. That's good. Okay, that's helpful for you. Let's see. Fellow ECC member. Oh, hey, Caden, how are we doing? Nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Any questions for me? Let's see. Da, 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 da. All right. Oh, we've got quite a few people live on here. Awesome. So, but yeah, just put your put your questions down in the chat, and I'll see if I can answer those. I'm going to be on here for probably another 11, 10 more minutes. I didn't realize it was so late, actually, 1:19. So I got kind of on a late start on TikTok because I didn't know how to do it. So apparently they had to confirm my age, that I was overage. So we got that done. But yeah, let's see here. One new message. Let's see. Uh, uh, uh. Am I playing today? That's a great question. No, I'm not playing today. I've got some work to do. I'm going to try to get this video out with my buddy Josh Jackson, the long drive champion. That YouTube video should be out. I've got to upload it. I've got to do a couple of tweaks to it. That should be out later today. But no, Kate, I won't be playing today. I wish. No, I played, I had a lesson yesterday. I played on Tuesday. I played quite a bit this week. And then I played on Sunday too. And I've also got my buddy TPI George, call him TPI George, and he's going to actually paid for me to be in a scramble tomorrow. And so I'm playing in a scramble at Highland early morning. So I'm going to be playing then. So I would play a lot. I also have things that I have to do around the house, as well as hang out with my beautiful wife. So I'm going to be doing that this weekend too. So, but yeah, so good question though. I appreciate it. Any other questions about how to have fun playing golf? Like, what are you guys struggling with? What is it? What are the situations where you're not having as much fun? And I think the key though is to just ask yourself how we can have fun. Oh, Katie, you're playing at Highland later today. Hey, yeah, get that place warmed up for me, and let me know how the greens are. So that'll be super fun. But I think one of the key things, a good key takeaway from this on how to have fun playing golf, is to ask yourself, no matter what the situation is, not am I having fun? Because that's subjective. It's how can I have fun? And it really doesn't matter what the situation is. You can have fun no matter what's going on. It doesn't matter if you're losing. It's not going to change the circumstance. If you have had, if you're playing underneath what your standard is and you're not going to win a tournament, well, it doesn't matter then. So you should actually just focus on having fun even more, because what's the point? I mean, again, I'd like to think most people are here playing golf, or not here. Most people are here hanging out with me, but most people are playing golf because they want to have fun. Like, that's why you started playing golf. Like, ooh, it's a game. Games are fun. Let's have fun playing golf. So how can I have fun? And I think that's, in fact, I'm getting a new yardage book, and I think that is going to be on the inside of my yardage book. And it'd be like, how can I have fun today? Or how can I have fun right now? Like, what can I have fun? Like, sure, like I said earlier, I took a 13 on a par 5 early in the year, had a terrible, very highest score maybe ever on a par 5. And it's like, okay, well, how can I have fun on the next shot? How can I enjoy the next shot? What can I do? Can I have a conversation with the person I'm playing with? Can I look around? Can I notice that there's birds or animals or something going on? Can I just take in, hey, it's a beautiful day. How much fun is this? Can I do that? What can I do to have fun in this particular moment? And I think that's probably the most important thing that you guys can do to help enjoy and have more fun playing golf. The other part of it, we talked about it earlier, was the expectation management and understanding what your dispersion pattern is, where your golf balls are going to go. If you're even just hitting a pitching wedge, let's say you've got a pitching wedge, like, try this next time you go to the range, hit 20 or 30 or even 50 golf balls, hit a whole bucket of balls to a specific spot. And you will soon see what your pattern is and how wide your dispersion pattern is. You'll also notice that, yes, you've hit some good shots that are right in the middle towards the target. The better lower handicap, the better player you are, you'll hit more in a smaller area. But understand what your dispersion is with that shot. And then when you hit a shot, just understand that is the side, that is where the ball is going to go on any given moment. I mean, again, we talk about like, so the golf club is this is a small club. Like there's not very much room here. The sweet spot is literally a spot. It's not the whole club. We talk about hitting the sweet spot. The sweet spot is literally that big. That's the sweet spot. You know how hard it can be to hit it consistently in the sweet spot, especially when you have different lies in different situations, and then you've got to take into effect the humidity, the wind direction, all these other things. Oh, also, are you nervous about this shot? Is your adrenaline up? Are you hitting it? Is the ball going to travel farther? You've got to guess all these things, let alone the barometric pressure and whatever else is going on. Are you playing in Colorado and you're at elevation and the ball goes farther? Is the golf ball that you hit, have you been using that golf ball for 3 or 4 holes and maybe it's got a little scuff on it and it's not going to go as far? There's all these situations like, where's the grass? What's the lie? You have all these things that you have to understand. And then you expect to hit the shot within a very, very small margin for error. And I just think we just need to understand what our actual dispersion pattern is for any shot. And then when we hit it within that dispersion pattern, to just accept it and be happy with it. And then also to make sure you enjoy it even more. When you hit a good shot, just celebrate that. Fist pump, high five, whatever it is. If that's not appropriate to do if you're in a tournament, just give yourself, a high five on the inside. Give yourself a mental high five when you hit a good shot. Also, with chip shots around the green, I don't think people understand this. I've been teaching this a lot to my students lately. There is a dispersion pattern with every chip shot. Go to the practice green and put like 10 golf balls down with the same lie and try to hit them to the same spot and just see where the ball lands. And also not where the ball lands so much. I mean, where the ball lands is important as well, but where the ball goes. Like the dispersion on even just like a 10-foot or 20-foot chip shot can be kind of big as well. And understand that, yes, you'd like to get it in 3 feet. We'd love to make it. We'd love to get it within 5 or 6 feet, depending on what the chip shot is. But understand that there's a dispersion pattern that you have. It'll be smaller with better players, but even the best players. I was watching Tommy Fleetwood do a drill, which is a great drill. In fact, I was working with a student yesterday with it, and I was doing it myself, is he put like a towel down on the green and it was his landing area. And so he was trying to chip the ball and hit it to the towel in that landing area. Tommy Fleetwood, one of the best golfers in the world, was not hitting the towel every single time with a relatively short, easy chip shot. What does that tell you? That tells you that if you hit a chip shot and it goes 10 feet by, it's not a terrible shot. It's just a shot. It's within your normal dispersion pattern. And I feel like I have been beating people over the head with this in this live lesson, but I think our expectation management and our dispersion pattern are very, very important to understand. And also picking a target. So knowing that even with a chip shot, you're going to have a dispersion. Like if you're hitting let's say you're trying to land at about 10, you've got 10 feet of a chip shot, it's going to land in the middle of the hole. You have a dispersion with that. Like you're going to hit it. If you're better, it'd be smaller. But I mean, even myself, like I'm a very good chipper, but like you're going to hit it within a certain amount of distance within that. And it's going to be, maybe if it's an easy chip shot, it's 3 or 4 feet. Maybe if it's a harder, it's 5 or 6 feet. But understand that you're going to hit a shot and it's going to land within a certain area. It's not going to hit the same spot every time, because golf is a difficult game to replicate the same shot over and over with, no matter how good you are. And just understand that, okay, I have a dispersion. Let's try not to hit maybe the more difficult shot. Let's give ourselves a target that's on the green, and let's be happy when we chip it on the green. And I think that's a huge thing, and is very important to just understand that, like, if you have a chip shot and you got it on the green, you've done a good job, and to not beat yourself up and to really enjoy that. And I think that those things are really the key, some of the keys to really enjoying and having fun on the golf course. And to kind of wrap this up, we talked about meditation. I think meditation and mindfulness is very, very important. It's a great life skill. I think it's very important for you to enjoy playing golf. And I think it's also helpful to help you enjoy your life. It just gives you a little bit of a space between a stimulus and a response that you can observe your thoughts and not react, and maybe have a better reaction and maybe enjoy things better. But if you're interested in meditation, I've got a couple of free meditations that you can do that are on my YouTube channel. I've also got a meditation album and all my stuff. If you're looking at lessons or anything like that, it is all at johnlemmon.com. It's JOHNLEMMON.com. Check out there, send me an email. Please give me a comment on any of these platforms. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. And I really appreciate you guys checking this out. And hopefully you have learned some things about how to have more fun playing golf. Golf's a game, guys. Let's have some more fun. And you guys definitely check out. I've got a new YouTube video going live a little later on today with my buddy Josh Jackson, the Long Drive King. And it was a great driver lesson. In fact, I've been playing wonderful since that. So it's a good one. It's a banger. Is it a banger or is it a song a banger? Either way, guys, check it out. And we will see you soon. And just keep asking yourself, how can I have fun playing golf? All right, guys, cheers. Have a great day. We'll catch you soon.